Welcome to Warhammer Warscroll Review. In this video, we'll be taking a look at the Drukhari vehicle, the Raider. If you've ever played against Dark Eldar, you've probably faced some Raiders. A common sight in a Drukhari force. These vehicles are the main transport in a heavily mechanized faction. Starting at movement 14 inches with fly, Raiders are fast, just like every other Eldari model. Defensively, it is fairly flimsy. Toughness 5, 10 wounds, and a 4-up save. They do have Knight Shields for a 5-up invulnerable save against shooting attacks, which comes in handy. The vehicle has the choice between a few weapon options. It can either wield a Dark Lance or Disintegrator Cannon as its main gun. Both weapons are powerful and offer something different to a Drukhari force. Equip them with Dark Lancers to take out large targets, or take the Disintegrator Cannon for taking out heavy infantry. The models embarked on a Raider may make one weapon more valuable than another. If the units aboard are Cavalite warriors with blasters, the Dark Lancers are probably a better bet. But if the Raider is transporting witches, the Disintegrator Cannon would probably be better since the vehicle will be likely advancing. No sense paying for the single-shot Dark Lance when they are sacrificing accuracy for mobility regularly. The vehicle is not horrible in combat either. Starts at 3 attacks, hitting on 4s with strength 6. It even has a melee weapon in the way of Blade Vanes. This gives the model AP 1, but decreases the strength to 4. Because they are so fast and have the fly keyword, they can charge into combat, then back out and still shoot. After the vehicle deposits their troops, this can sometimes be a good idea to harass the enemy. This can even be done before the troops disembark if you suspect the Raider is about to be destroyed and surrounded, preventing its payload from escaping. Engaging sideways, giving the enemy your broadside can keep the enemy from piling in around it. Alternatively, engaging long ways can possibly keep the enemy from piling in to the back end of the vehicle. As mentioned a few times, the vehicle is a transport and can carry 10 Drukhari or Incubi infantry models. Grotesques take up 2 slots per model. The vehicle is also famously open-topped. In 8th edition, this just means the models embarked may fire out of the vehicle, measuring from the hull. This is great for embarked Cavalite warriors, but even witches can shoot their splinter pistols aboard the Raider. For a few more points, Raiders can also be equipped with splinter racks. This grants a special ability when firing splinter weapons from embarked models. Every hit roll of 6 scores 2 hits instead of 1. With 10 Cavalite warriors rapid firing, this ability would score quite a few extra hits. Raiders are around 80 points depending on weapon loadouts, which is actually pretty cheap. They're only marginally more expensive than a Venom, so there is some consideration in taking a Raider over their smaller substitute. Raiders are more durable, while the Venom is faster. The main reason Raiders shine over Venoms is that they can take 10 models. In the case of Cavalite warriors, witches, or even racks, taking 10 models unlocks access to multiple special weapons. Load up your boats with models holding special weapons, and they will start to feel a bit more powerful. A Raider wielding a Disintegrator Cannon and Splinter racks, transporting 10 Cavalite warriors with a Shredder and Splinter Cannon, will be wreaking havoc on hordes. Even a unit of just 5 Cavalite warriors with a blaster aboard can cause some mayhem. But if you're taking the Raiders over the Venoms, you might want to consider taking 10 models per unit. When transporting close combat units like witches, they can be used to protect their payload once dropped, by physically obscuring them or engaging in combat models that would likely shoot the witches down. Raiders have all 3 Drukhari faction keywords, meaning they can have any obsession the Dark Eldar have to offer. This makes for quite a few different combinations. There's so many that are worth mentioning that it's hard to cover them all. Instead, I will mention the ones that I feel will have the most impact on the Raider. The Cabal of the Blackheart will be the most popular based purely on the stratagem, but its obsession is still helpful. Increasing the power from pain turn count is great, but useless on a Raider. However, the vehicles receive a feel no pain-like save. On a roll of 6, the Raider ignores a wound or mortal wound. The Cult of Red Grief allows the vehicle to advance and charge, and reroll charge rolls. This is nice, but the cult-specific stratagem is nicer. Athletic Aerialist may cost 2 CP and doesn't benefit the Raider itself, but can be used when a cult unit consolidates after combat. Move the unit 6 inches towards the closest transport, and if you come within 3 inches, embark. This is actually a really tricky maneuver as it is done immediately after attacking, so a unit of witches could potentially jump out of a Raider, charge and attack, then use this stratagem to hop back in the Raider, before the enemy even has a chance to swing. It may be FAQ'd, as it was likely not the intent, but you don't have to be anywhere near a transport to use a stratagem. In fact, if you position correctly, you can use this 6-inch move to move completely out of close combat so the enemy can't swing back. Another raw interpretation is that models like Hellions and Reavers can use it, even though they can never embark in a transport. An expensive but possibly worthwhile strategy is to use 2 CP on counteroffensive to swing with your cult unit before the enemy, then use another 2 CP for athletic aerialist to pull them out of combat. Some might say this is a lot of command points, but come on, you're Dark Eldar, who cares about a little extravagance? The Cabal of the Flayed Skull is also noteworthy in that it increases the Raider's movement by 3 inches and allows them to ignore cover. Not only that, but models inside ignore cover and reroll hit rolls of 1 for rapid fire weapons. The Cabal specific stratagem is great, but situational. It increases to hit rolls by 1 for a Cabal unit that shoots at a flying target. This would actually make a unit of 10 Cabalite warriors with a splinter cannon and splinter racks pretty deadly to flying units. Raiders can hold quite a few different types of units, and as mentioned, fit into any Drukhari faction. In addition, Raiders can also be used in an Inari force. Raiders will be pretty popular as Drukhari increase in their use. Most Eldari forces will have at least a patrol of Drukhari to get the Agents of Vex stratagem. Why wouldn't they throw these troops into a cheap, fast vehicle? In competitive play, under ITC missions, Raiders do offer one downside. As the Drukhari player will likely have a handful of Raiders, they give up Big Game Hunter quite easily. Remember this when making your list. If you were going to field 4, maybe drop it down to just 3 and take a Venom instead. Raiders receive a 4 out of 5. They are a staple to the Drukhari army and transport models quickly at relative safety. What do you think of the Raider? What data slates would you like to see reviewed next on the channel? Leave your answers, questions, and thoughts in the comments below, and thanks for watching.